the bearded one here. How you guys doing? I want to talk about the Saweetie and the Quavo. All right, sounds like a little fairy tale, but it is. It's a nightmare fairy tale for everybody out there. So the Saweetie and the Quavo, or the Saweetie and the Quavo, is more about how there's a guy called Quavo. He's a rapper. I don't listen to his music. I don't know about that. But he apparently is a very successful rapper. He makes very good money, and he has enough to have invested $2 million in a girl called Saweetie, who also wants to be a rapper or something like that. She wants to be a famous person. She wants a career in media. But she obviously is not successful or as popular as he was before he brought her into his universe and brought her into his life. Now, the problem is that they broke up. The two of them broke up, and the reason they broke up, of course, is Saweetie didn't want him anymore, or her friends were claiming that they didn't believe that she was getting the best deal. I mean, invested $2 million US in her as his girl, and her friends are gassing her up with dumb ideas like, you are not getting a good enough deal. Now, if Saweetie was half as intelligent, she would ask herself, how many guys are investing $2 million in the woman that they're dating? $2 million. $1 million alone, US, is more than the average man in America, in Britain, France, Germany, China, Japan, South Africa, Nigeria earns. If a friend of yours is gassing you up and telling you that the man you're with, who's doing all these things, buying you jewelry, giving you access to a social network and fame you didn't have, that you're gaining because of the association with him in a relationship, you've got to ask yourself a question. Is my girlfriend jealous of my relationship, and are my girlfriends out to scuttle my relationship so that I lose access to the goodies that I have access to? That's the question I would ask myself as I was Saweetie, Saweetie, whatever. I'm not even gonna bother trying to figure out how her name is pronounced, but I think it's Saweetie, right? Why would I even do that? Why would I do that, right? So, excuse me. That makes me think. Okay, cool. So we got this girl. He's invested $2 million in her. She was disrespectful, talking about having a threesome in an interview. I think in the interview was also one of the participants was an ex-boyfriend, talking about, she basically said that she wouldn't allow a threesome where it was two girls and a guy, but she would definitely allow a threesome where there was two guys and a girl. So that's what she's going to tolerate. That's what she's going to allow. She's trying to be slick when she answered it. Now, that should have already said that she's publicly saying these things. She's already being all masculine and disrespectful. It tells me something about the relationship between this guy and this girl. This young man is not red pill or purple pill. This young man does not value himself. This young man has not learned how to deal with women, and this young man was not putting his foot down and taking leadership and controlling the parameters of that relationship, and he was not laying down the law. Most likely, he gassed himself up about this girl. He put her on such a pedestal. Now I saw an image or two of this girl, and she's about as average as it gets. This is not a girl that you look at and you go, oh my God. She's not, what is this woman that plays Wonder Woman? Yeah, the lady that plays Wonder Woman, she's gorgeous. The woman that plays Black Widow in Avengers, she's gorgeous, okay? You know what I'm saying? Tinashe, the singer, she's gorgeous, okay? Tandy Newton, she's attractive, right? So she's not that level in any way, but this dude was so taken by her, so convinced by her. I don't know if it was because the cookie was really good and she knew how to work it in the bedroom, or he just comes from a space of a lack of abundance and doesn't have the ability to believe in himself, and he just was so desperate. I would also like to know what the young man's family setup is, in terms of they grew up with a single mom or with a dad. Was there an abandonment issue? What kind of attachment style does he have? All those issues kind of come into play in this, because as he went through life and he's an adult now, he's making all this money, he ends up with this woman who doesn't respect him, is disrespectful in public. In fact, she even started a physical altercation with him in an elevator, and it was edited. Somebody tried to edit the video to make it look like he was the instigator, but he wasn't. She actually instigated, she attacked him, and that happened was she started wrestling with him over some property of his, and she lost her footing and fell back. So he did not attack her, which of course other people try to make it look like it was, but in fact it was not. Not only that, the minute she broke up with this dude, she did a Kim Kardashian on him. She goes out and just starts pushing out all this content, all these discussions about how he did this and did that, he's like that, he's like that. Basically, she's making herself a victim and making this guy a monster, which is typical when you're dealing with possibly toxic individuals. They will go and sell the other person as the problem and as a monster. I've been through that myself, where this girl I used to date, I mean, she went out there and painted a whole other picture of me, making up entire narratives. I mean, she should be a screenplay writer, a script writer. She should write a novel, because she made up a whole bunch of stuff about what happened when she actually instigated. So it's very interesting. But so the main point, though, I'm trying to make is that money does not, a man having fame, having money does not mean he's an alpha. He's a sigma. Some people like to call sigma alphas, whatever, red pill or purple pill, whatever. He's not a masculine man who takes charge, who is confident in himself, has a spirit of abundance, is a protector, a challenge, etc. He's definitely a guy who is where guys like me used to be, where nice guys, really nice guys, and we pedestalize women. Back in the days, I would have done it too. Now, of course, I know far better, and I've got far more experience, and I know that's wrong. You should never put a woman at the center of your universe. You put your goals and your ambitions in life at the center of your universe. And if any people deserve to be there, it's probably your children. That's it. Nobody else. Yourself and your children. Now, given that, it explains why she was so disrespectful and behaving the way she was in that relationship, because he set no boundaries for her behavior. He did not put a force of masculinity, a force of confidence, a force of leadership into her life to direct her, to control her behavior. And he did not value himself to the point where if she displayed disrespect, if she displayed that kind of attitude after investments as high as $2 million in her, definitely that woman had no business being around him, and he was supposed to immediately cut her off and say, you know what? I'm a man of value. My intellect is valuable. My presence is valuable. My jokes are valuable. My ability to think is valuable. My ability to talk to other people, my social network is valuable. My ability to put together media, my ability to create a successful media package is valuable. And if this woman cannot value being around me, being in my presence, when she doesn't even have a deal to get better than this. In fact, right now I suspect not only was this because he wasn't setting down the rules and she wasn't feeling that this dude is a man, but is more like a simping, as people call it, or behaving in a manner that makes him a bit more feminine and allows her to be more masculine. That's why she's being so masculine with her opinions and her behavior, because he hasn't put on a force that says, if you even dare wrestle with me over my property, say the wrong things or say nonsense when you go out there into the world, I will cut you off and dump you on the spot without negotiation, without no discussion. You're done. If that was the ruling in his household, she would never have behaved the way she behaves, right? And if she did, he would have gotten rid of her immediately and saved himself $2 million of wasted money or whatever else he put down on that girl, right? All that is a demonstration of the dangers of not putting as a priority the learning of truth of self and also the truth of relationships and of female nature. If you understand female nature, if you understand the truth about yourself and the truth of women and relationships, you wouldn't be in a situation where you get treated like that. You wouldn't be a millionaire getting involved with a person who has nothing to bring to the relationship. If Quavo wants to have better relationships going forward, he needs to talk about valuing himself and saying, I will not tolerate certain behavior from a woman that I'm seeing. And if I see that behavior, I will cut her off and it's over. We're not even entertaining. In fact, in the beginning of the dating process, all I'm looking for is behavior that says this person is respectful, mentally sound, and able to behave in a manner that shows they value me as a man and as a human being. If I don't see that, if that's not present, walk away, cut them off, you can get a better deal. The fact that this happened is more an indictment of Quavo having tolerated this behavior from this girl, allowing her to behave however she wished to behave and not checking her when she did show these tendencies. And now hopefully he's learned that he's got to have to put his foot down. He's going to have to set his boundaries, or he's going to lose respect, money, and his time. And depending on how crazy these kind of women can be, or a woman who's not controlled can be in terms of leadership and telling her, I will accept this and I won't accept that, he could end up in far more trouble. But at least all he lost was money and some time. And he's young enough to be able to make more money and go out there and find a far better woman than that, and to fix the problem within him that allowed him to accept a woman disrespecting him and mistreating him and being toxic. He needs to fix that problem in himself before he can get himself a proper female partner who brings something to the table and who's respectful and shows him the kind of attention, love, and affection he definitely should be getting as a man at his level. But it demonstrates the same problem that Will Smith had, that if you pedestalize a woman without making her pay the price to have that position, because Will Smith is guilty. He's guilty. If you listen to Will Smith, I've always listened to Will Smith. A lot of people don't think of Will Smith as an artist they even bother listening to. I've listened to a lot of Will Smith's music, if not every album, and he's made quite a number of songs where he raps and sings about his wife and how he loves her and she's the meaning of life and the world and all that. That should have told me, but of course I didn't have the mindset I have now. But now I look back and I realize that he pedestalized her. He pedestalized Jada. He made her this perfect woman. He made her this person who didn't have to do anything to have access to all that attention and affection and from him. Not only that once with the entanglement, or that continuous entanglement with whatever that boy's name, I forgot his name. I don't listen to his music either. And then on top of that, there was a Tupac issue that Jada had in the past, which actually she was even immortalized in a sitcom she used to act in, where Tupac also acted as the bad boy that came back to where she was going to college and she was dating this nice boy. Man, you know what? Whatever. But Will Smith didn't set the boundaries and valuation of self that would allow Jada to behave appropriately. And when she misbehaved, he did not do what is required in cutting her off and getting rid of her. He decided to stay with her, whether it's because he still has very strong emotions towards her and still does not realize that he should not ever put her before himself, or because he's trying to save his business empire and does not want to lose money with Jada taking half, or whatever other damage is possible if he were to go through a divorce. Whatever reason it is, I think Will's first relationship that he had, where in his first relationship, one of the serious ones, basically the girl took him to the cleaners, disrespected him the same way that Quavo was getting disrespected, or is getting disrespected right now, and it really hurt him. And he still mentions it in some of his music, this relationship that really hurt him badly. And I'm not sure he recovered from it the way he should have recovered, because that trauma from that first relationship, or that girl that treated him that way, might have passed on to how he behaved towards Jada and resulted in the behavior. I know that when you go through a relationship where it doesn't work out and you meet somebody, I mean, this is why I got myself into trouble as well with one of the girls I was dating, is that I got out of a relationship with one girl who was a bit too aggressive, too argumentative, and I got with her and she wasn't arguing. I just thought it was a blessing from God and it's the most amazing thing, and I pedestalized her. Years later, she came back to wreak havoc. She demonstrated that she was even worse than the other girl, right? But that was because I was coming out of one relationship's trauma and not fixing it and staying by myself to figure out what went wrong before getting involved with somebody else, that my judgment was heavily impaired with regards to the next girl. And I think that might have happened with Jada and Will. And I think he needs to evaluate whether he is willing to live like that for the rest of his life. He's still a young man. He's still got energy. He still can make more money. So he needs to evaluate. But at the end of the day, it's his choice. And if he chooses to stay with Jada. But I think, based on what has happened there, maybe, Jada will probably want to kill me because his douchebag has no right to talk about my relationship. Most likely, but it's my opinion. And I'm just thinking that, you know what, it'll be better for her as well because she can be with the kind of man she wants to be with and stop torturing poor Will Smith, right? But that's his relationship and that's their thing, but that's my opinion about it. But in general, I just want to say to you guys, listen, money doesn't make you able to set the rules in your relationship. It's a love of self, and it's the willingness and understanding that you've got to set boundaries as a man for what kind of relationship you will and will not accept. All right, Will Smith, get that? Don't let Jada play you. But, so guys, if you're in a situation like that, I don't care how much money you make. If you're getting treated badly, it could be because she doesn't see you as strong, masculine, and setting the boundaries in that relationship and doing what a man needs to do according to her definition of what a man is. You're not taking into consideration where she's coming from in terms of a parental upbringing. You're not taking into consideration the kind of friends she has. You're not taking into consideration her own behaviors and traumas of past relationships and how they affect you. When you're not taking into consideration that you should set your rules. And if she doesn't follow, she can leave. You can get somebody who does follow the rules. Just like she can leave you if she feels that you are not doing what she needs a man to be or a man to do. Do for yourself and be aware of your own needs. Until next time, guys, don't be like the Saweetie and the Quavo. Rather, do more, be more, become more on your purpose.